On the Memorial Weekend on May 28, 2018, a man well-liked in the community was found deceased in his home in Lawrenceburg in Dearborn County, Indiana.
Steve, thank you very much. Right now, state police in Indiana remain on the scene of a death investigation that's entered its third day. It's happening on High Ridge Court in Lawrenceburg, that's in Dearborn County. Our Ken Brown joins us live with an update on the investigation we told you about first. Ken, what have you learned?
Well, Rob, at this point, very little has been released about this. Indiana State Police have confirmed, like you said, that this is a death investigation. And since that investigation started, you can see cruisers remaining on the scene that they were called to days ago. It's the quiet house in the corner that's been drawing the most attention over the last 2 days. Dearborn County units responded to the home around 2:15 on Monday afternoon, and they were responding for a call of an unconscious man.
High Ridge Court. An elderly male unconscious. I believe we're still trying to get someone inside the house. 1419.
Communications between medics and dispatch suggest that soon after first responders made it into the home, the person inside was past the point of help.
Hey, Squad 81.
Squad 81.
We're going to need the corner started this way.
When we come home from lunch, there was police officers all over the place, and then an hour later the coroner showed up, and for the next few days after that there's been police there.
Neighbors say police asked if they had seen anything out of the ordinary over the weekend, but those we spoke with say everything was normal. Since the incident, the new normal is a pair of cruisers parked on their street, as questions still remain about what happened.
I got a 5-year-old daughter, a 13-year-old son. The neighborhood's completely filled with children. So if it is something suspicious, it'd be nice to know for sure.
Indiana State Police are expected to release more information on Thursday morning. Now, neighbors tell us that the man that lived in this home was an older man. He lived by himself and he kept to himself. We're continuing to learn more about this investigation, and again, do expect to learn more tomorrow morning. But for now, we're reporting live in Lawrenceburg. Ken Brown, Fox 19 Now.
The victim was 73-year-old Tom Biedenharn. He was well-liked and considered a good person in the community. His friends knew him as Big Tom because he was 6'8" and weighed around 300 pounds. In his youth, Tom Biedenharn was also considered a very talented basketball player and played for Elder High School and was a standout center, scoring 729 points in 3 varsity seasons for the 1960-1962 basketball team, lauded as one of the best in school history. After his time playing for Elder High School, he went on to play at the University of Cincinnati.
Dozens of officers all over the property of 73-year-old Tom Biedenharn.
It's tragic, real tragedy.
Searching for clues to his death as friends.
Who would do that?
Search for answers.
When I heard the word homicide this morning in my living room, my wife wanted to know what happened to me, and I just can't believe this. I'm shocked.
Tom Bushman and Fritz Myers have known Tom Biedenharn for almost 7 decades.
It was a shock. It was a shock. It was like someone punched me in the stomach. I didn't know what to do. I didn't believe it at first.
They're former teammates who sat down with us on the same floor at Elder, where they played basketball with Tom, who still holds scoring records at Elder. He was 6'8" and could shoot.
For his time, he was huge. He was broad and he was tall. He big hands, good hands, soft touch for a big man.
Well liked by all of his teammates, both in grade school, high school, and college.
Tom was found dead inside his Hidden Valley home in Dearborn County on Monday. The coroner ruled it a homicide today. The Dearborn County prosecutor was at the scene, along with officers who canvassed every part of the property. Police are only saying they got a call from a family member who went to check on Tom. Now, it's a homicide investigation with questions yet to be answered.
Who would want to do something to a guy like Tom Biedenharn? Unbelievable.
Now, police have not released the cause of death.
Tom Biedenharn was an active volunteer working for many agencies in southeastern Indiana. He also volunteered to help the homeless in northern Kentucky, and he had also visited prisoners along with a group of nuns in Kentucky and prayed for them. Big Tom also worked with members of the Amish community and stayed in touch with death row inmates. Biedenharn was a dog lover who was working to create a dog park near Lawrenceburg in memory of an Indiana female basketball player who passed away from terminal cancer in 2015 named Lauryn Hill.
Investigators think more than one person was involved in a Dearborn County man's murder. Thomas Biedenharn was found dead inside his home on Memorial Day. State police say the evidence points to more than one person. Now, Biedenharn was 6'8", so a man who clearly wasn't easily subdued. Friends of his say it's hard to imagine anyone would want to murder the 73-year-old. He was a mainstay in the Hidden Valley community. He volunteered at a recovery center. He helped to build one dog park and then was planning another.
And I fear that, maybe ultimately somebody took advantage, that he had helped out in the past, which is unfortunate because he was the kind of guy that just every day thought about how he could make a difference.
Troopers are still looking for a bright blue extended cab pickup that was seen nearby that day. Biedenharn's family has put up $50,000 of their own money as a reward.
The potential last sighting of Tom was on the morning of the 26th of May 2018, where he was seen on video surveillance at the McCabe's Greenhouse and Floral in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Indiana State Police investigators believe that more than one person was present with Tom Biedenharn at his home when the crime occurred. A newer model electric or bright blue four-door or extended cab truck was seen in the area of the residence around the time of the crime. It's been speculated on the internet that perhaps the Stevenson murders case might be connected to the Tom Biedenharn case because of how close both homes were situated and how both the Stevenson couple and Tom Biedenharn were murdered in their homes, and they were both elderly. The Stevenson couple and Tom Biedenharn were also murdered on Memorial Day weekend 7 years apart. In 2012, the nephew of Bill and Peggy Stevenson, Charles Stevenson, murdered a 67-year-old woman in her home from Aurora, Indiana in Dearborn County named Lee Jennings. Bill and Peggy Stevenson and Tom Biedenharn all volunteered to help in their communities, and Tom at one point volunteered at the Grateful Life Center in Erlanger, Kentucky, just 2 miles from Florence, Kentucky, where Bill and Peggy lived.
For those at Hidden Valley Lake, relaxing on this holiday is a tradition.
Everyone comes down, like everyone's friends, family.
But since last year, there's a strong current of Memorial Day mystery surrounding this lake community.
It's a small community, you don't expect things like that.
They never had anything, there's nothing there, like no clues or anything. It's kind of weird.
It all came when the body of Tom Biedenharn was found inside his Hidden Valley home Memorial Day weekend last year. He had been murdered.
I was like, who would do something like that to a guy like him?
James Timmerding was a friend of Tom's, wondering why, over the course of a year, there's not been a single substantial break in the case.
It's kind of surprising they ain't caught nobody yet. Yeah, so we still talk about it, everybody.
Tom Biedenharn was well known. He was a standout basketball player at Elder. Then at UC, he made friends with everyone, volunteered to help addicts at the Grateful Life Center in Erlanger, and was working to build a dog park in Lauryn Hill's name. The family put up these billboards and a $50,000 reward. In the neighborhood where he died, the house has been sold, but the lot he owned next door, this commemorative garden that will forever remember a mark made on Memorial Day. And again, that reward, $50,000, and the number to call on that tip line, that's one specifically for Tom.